This video was made possible by Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com/Alli Cherry for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm just doing this really casual sort of Q&A video answering your questions that you sent me on Instagram. And this video is going to be all about zero waste because that's what I got the most questions about. So let's just jump right in. I have the questions here on my phone. How did your zero waste journey start? So my zero waste journey started back in 2013, maybe 2012 too, is when I first heard about it. And at this time, Nick and I weren't married yet. We both lived at home before we were married. So there were little things that I implemented, but the switch really started when we moved in together. And yeah, that's sort of when I really took hold of this idea and started making changes in my daily life. So the big ones that I can remember off the top of my head from that time in my life were I didn't buy paper towels and I didn't buy Ziploc bags. And for me, that was a really big deal because before that I was I don't want to say really into that sort of stuff, but I did use a lot of those at home. I lived with my grandparents and they had a lot of that stuff around, so I used it. And also when I lived at home, I was a little bit older, right? I think we got married when we were 24. So I was living at home up until that point, and I did all my own grocery shopping, and I remember being really into shopping at Trader Joe's. In particular, I loved their like ready-made salad stuff. If you guys know, Trader Joe's is a local store. Actually, it might be nationwide. I'm not really sure. But their stuff is like very, very packaged in plastic. And I think they just came out with something saying that they're going to reduce the amount of plastic they use by 2020 or something. But not to go off on a tangent, but I was really into their pre-packaged food because in my little room when I lived at home, I had my own mini fridge. And I would just like stack it up with the Trader Joe's meals and like their chips and bars. And so I was very into that sort of convenience idea of eating. And I thought that was healthy. I mean, technically it was healthy-ish, right? But not healthy for anything else other than myself because of all the plastic I was consuming. So anyway, that was a really big switch when we first got married because I wanted to make less trash. And so because most of the trash that I made came from kitchen stuff, that was a really big switch for me, is like trying to make things from home, trying to shop in bulk and not buying things that were disposable, instead switching those things out for reusable things. So that was really easy for me at that time because, like I keep saying, I had just gotten married, so we had like mason jars that we had used in our wedding and that we got from our registry too. So I used those to store food. I also registered for things like tea towels and like, you know, little hand towels for the kitchen. So I was able to use those instead of paper towels. So for me, other than like the kitchen stuff that I didn't buy, the disposable stuff, I also really wanted to work on my work lunches because I worked in an office and I didn't want to produce that trash daily. So that was the second like big thing that I did to sort of make less trash, is I made sure that I always brought my lunch and I would have a utensil, a reusable utensil and a napkin, and I would make sure I would bring my coffee cup and my water bottle. And that was something that I really worked on to make sure that I wasn't creating a bunch of trash during the day. I had a little 2-tiered metal tiffin. I would bring that to work and people would make fun of me and whatever, but that was something that I did to reduce the trash that I made. And so it was definitely a slow process because even now I'm not 100% zero waste. There are things that I have to buy packaged because of my food sensitivities. But I'm so much better and so much more mindful than I was back then. So yeah, that's how it started, I guess, back then. The next question is how to begin. I'm so interested, but I don't want to waste all of my stuff. Do I use it up first? Okay, so this is a question that I've seen around quite a bit. And just before I get into a long answer, yes, please use up your stuff before you buy new. If you think about it, being zero waste means like sending as little as possible to the landfill, right? So I can totally understand like wanting to get rid of everything and just like be zero waste and be perfect and not have anything, you know, that's packaged or whatever, but it's just not practical. And getting rid of stuff that's perfectly fine is not zero waste at all. No matter what anyone on Instagram is telling you or showing you, like, we all make trash. It's life. Like, we don't live in a perfectly circular economy, so trash is going to happen. And being in the mindset of wanting to throw everything away so that you could buy new zero waste stuff isn't really zero waste. That's not what it's about. It's about just trying your best to have a light footprint on the planet and send as little as you can to the landfill. I even, like, when I shop, there's some grocery stores that'll have like a section, like a refrigerated section of things that are like packaged food that are close to their expiration date. And that's all usually wrapped in plastic, right? But I will buy that even if it's wrapped in plastic, because I know if it doesn't get purchased and it doesn't get eaten, the whole thing is going to end up in the landfill, the food and the packaging. So I think it's more zero waste to buy something like that that's close to its expiration date and using it than to just buy completely unpackaged food. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, that like energy was used to produce that food, and it'll all be completely wasted if it doesn't get eaten up. So I do that at grocery stores, and that's not like a perfectly Instagrammable zero waste moment, but maybe it should be because that is like saving resources, being responsible with, you know, the things that are given to us, I guess. I know it's very overwhelming to step back and like see all the trash that you produce in your life, and to realize that like making less trash is a lifestyle change, and it can be a big one for some people, for most people. So I would say a really simple thing that you can do to like take manageable steps is just go one piece at a time. So if you have shower gel that you're using and you use it up, instead of purchasing a new shower gel, maybe purchase something unpackaged or with less packaging, like a bar of soap. Because then you're not spending extraordinary amounts of money buying all these zero waste things all at once. You're being responsible with the things that you have by using them up all the way, and you're getting towards a more low waste lifestyle, but you're doing it in a way that's probably going to be more sustainable for you because you're not making all these changes all at once, if that makes sense. And then also you can, you know, like look at your trash and see what it is you're throwing away. If you're throwing away lots of like utensils and cups and stuff, consider just using the real utensils that you already have in your kitchen. You don't necessarily have to buy anything new, although you absolutely can if you want to. There are lots of great companies that are doing great things, but it's also fine and maybe even like more zero waste to use what you already have, because you're not buying a new, you know, something that was just created for this. So just start small and know that those small steps are going to add up over time, and hopefully other people will notice what you're doing and be encouraged too. And so yeah, that's where I would say to start. Okay, I'm going to cut this video short because I'm actually going to make a part 2, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed, and thank you so much for watching. Bye. If you need a new website or blog, make it with Squarespace. They offer pre-designed templates that are easy to use, and their all-in-one interface is extremely intuitive. It's totally up to you how much you choose to customize your site, but even if you use the template just as it is, it'll look beautiful and professional with no design knowledge needed. Of course, they have tons of helpful videos and award-winning customer service if you have any questions along the way too. So if you're ready to upgrade what you're doing online or start something completely new, do it with Squarespace and use my code for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.